Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to make Kunu Zaki. That some people call it Kunu drink, but I think it's popularly known as Kunu Zaki drink. I don't even pronouncing it well. Please pardon me. So let's dive into the recipe. We'll also be talking about the benefits of this drink. Now, my main purpose of taking this drink is because of milk production. I recently gave birth and I have a low milk supply. So I made my research and I found out that Kunu makes or increases your milk supply. It also helps with digestion, it also helps with weight loss, and it also helps with low sperm count. Now, if you're a woman or a man watching this and your husband has low sperm count, you can help him make this drink at home. If you're a mom, a new mom, or a mom breastfeeding, or a mom to be, you can save this video for when you need it to help increase your milk supply. If you have issues with bloating and all that digestive issues, this would help here. So the other benefit to it, I heard it also helps with weight loss, but that is not the reason why I'm taking it. I'm strictly taking it because I'm trying to increase my milk supply. Now, the ingredient you need for this is number one, which I've showed you guys, is ginger. Number two is this. It is called cloves. It's also called kunufura or kunufara. I'm not sure, and can also be called zubu pepper. People use this for zubu. I use it for zubu. So yes, this is the second ingredient to use, and the third one would be sweet potatoes. Sweet potato is the third ingredient we'll be using to make our kunu. The next ingredient we'll be using is sugar. This comes in at the very last stage. Now, the main ingredient for this video, which happens to be the last ingredient we're using, is millet. This is our millet. I got this on the market like this. This is a half pint of millet. If you also want me to share how much I got each ingredient I used, let me know that in the comment section. Exactly what I'm showing you guys is how it came from the market, and this is everything I used. Nothing was left out. So this might help you know how to measure the ingredients if you want to make this kunu by yourself. This sums up all the ingredients you would need. Now let's start with the process of making this kunu drink. The first stage is to soak your millet. Most people mix their millet with the other one, but I just used the white millet. Now I've added water into a bowl and let it sit for 7 hours. 7 to 10 hours is okay, or just leave for overnight. It's fine. Then decide to wash your millet before soaking, or just soak and then wash later. So I'm going with the later option, which is wash later, which is why I'm just going to soak it like this and then wash it when I'm ready to ground it. Now I soaked mine for 10 hours and this is me back here. This is what it looks like. Now let's go ahead and wash it up and then prepare the other ingredients for this drink. Now preparing the other ingredients would be pounding your cloves. Pound it in a way that just pound it to a reasonable texture. It might not come out powdery, but just make sure it's a bit softened so that the machine that will grind it will not get stuck. After you do this, pour this into a bowl that you'd mix all the three ingredients I will show you. After pouring this in, we're going to go in with our potatoes. We're going to wash our potatoes because remember I showed you guys when I showed it was very dirty. We're going to wash it up and then peel it. Peel it one after the other. After peeling it, you're going to dice it, like cut it in smaller portions. I don't have a very good industrial blender, so I'm taking this out to ground it. Right, let me put that out there, which is where I have to cut these things into smaller pieces. Even if you have a blender in the house, cut it in smaller pieces so it doesn't spoil your blender. I don't want to spoil mine, hence why I don't want to mix it. Now after cutting this up, you're going to go with your ginger. Wash your ginger as well. Wash it clean, right? Make sure you wash your ginger very clean and then just cut it into smaller pieces like so. Cut it very small, not too small, not too big, but just cut it in cubes. Now, after you've done this, add this into that bowl that you have your cloves, add it together and cover it up. Now you're going to. So I went ahead and transferred my millet, just the millet, into a bigger bowl like this, or a bigger pocket, in case there's excesses. I won't have spill. So put it in a very good container so you don't have spill. Put the other one separately from the millet. You're not adding it to the millet. You're not grounding this, the one we have, the potato, ginger, and cloves. You're not adding it to the millet. You're grinding it separately. Now take this to where they ground things, or if you have a very good blender in the house, use it in the house and ground both the millet separately and ground the other three ingredients separately. Now after grinding it, let it sit for a while, let's say 30 minutes, and then proceed to the next step. Now, this is me 30 minutes later. This is what the grounded texture looks like. And for the millets, so I'm going to go ahead and boil water. I'm boiling water currently, and I'm waiting for the water to get boiled so we can forge on to the next step, which is pouring hot water into the millet. Now, before we hot water comes, you're going to use a stick or anything to just dilute the liquid. It's just like making pap, right? Dilute the liquid to be exactly how it's been grounded. So if they added too much water from where they grounded it, you might end up with a more lighter paste. But the important thing you should look forward to is the color. Just like when you're making pap, the color tells you if it's cooked or not, right? So that's how it's going to be now. You're going to look at the texture of what it's like before you added the hot water. And while adding the hot water, you're going to make sure you see that transition of the color changing, which means it's cooked. You might end up with a very thicker paste or a more lighter paste, more like you're making cocoa, in pap fashion. Either ways, if you want a very, very thick paste, then if you pour the hot water and it gives you a lighter paste, then you have to put it back on fire, just like you're taking your pap back on fire. You can take it back on, or put it on the pot, in your pot, put it on the stove and turn until it gets thick. Then you can transfer it to your bowl and let it sit for, let's say, an hour, and then add the mixture of the potato, the cloves, and the ginger. Add it into it when the millet paste is cold, which is what I'm doing here. Now, once you add your paste, once you add this mixture, it will definitely get a bit watery, but don't worry. Don't worry if it gets watery. Now, I let this sit. This was around 7 p.m. or 7 to 8 p.m. So I let this sit for the whole night, which is I left it overnight. If you've gotten to this part of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Please hit the subscribe button and ensure to turn on the notification bell. Now let's continue. The next morning, very early, I decided to sieve it. Now this is what I'm using to sieve this this texture. This is what I'm using to sieve this, and this is just I think my mom called it organza material. If you don't have a proper sieve, because I'm making this in a large portion, I cannot use a regular small sieve. I have to use something big. So go to the market and say you want to buy organza material. This is what it will look like. You can use this to sieve your kunu. Thank me later. So once I'm going to pour this in batch. It might take a while, but you're going to pour it in batch and just squeeze. Either you squeeze it to your hand or you use a clip like this. I don't know what's called, to squeeze it, because again, this is not going back into the fire. So you're drinking it as it is. You want to make sure your hygiene is on check. Everything is clean. Your hand is clean. Your nails is clean. So after you've done this, it will take a while, but don't worry, it will worth it at the end. I made my very watery because again, I'm breastfeeding and I love hydration. Like, drinking water might be exhausting for me, but drinking kunu is something I would love to do. So I always make sure the water is enough. So it might look watery to you, but it's okay for me. That's my preference. So after I've sieved out everything, the last thing to do is to add your sugar and stir. Or rather, the second to the last thing to do is add your sugar and stir. And once you feel it's sweetened to your taste, or you might decide to not add sugar at all, that's your preference, whatever works for you. After you've done this, transfer it into ragolis like I did, with mine, and then put in the fridge. And that's it, guys. The kunu is ready to drink. If you enjoyed watching this video and you don't subscribe, I would not be happy with you. So please, if this was fun, if you've learned anything from this video, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. And thank you in advance. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll also drop another video on how you can make Zobo drinks. If you're breastfeeding, then you should definitely subscribe and turn on notification bell, because I'll be talking about or showing you guys how I also increase my breast milk using fenugreek and using moringa. Thank you guys for watching. If you love videos like this, let me know down in the comment section. If you have any questions at all, drop it down in the comment section. See you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you.